Hello, golfers. Welcome to a hopefully very useful but short video about junior and college golf. I'm going to try to help you navigate some of the stuff you have to deal with, and it's a lot, toward moving through the ranks of junior golf, higher level junior golf, to college golf recruiting process. And, well, I've been doing it for 40 years. I want you to know a couple things about it. Number one, I don't believe the goal of playing college golf is a worthwhile goal. Oh my gosh, can you believe he said that? No, I think here's what we want to do. We want to love golf. We want to get there at the golf course early and stay out there most of the day, learning, playing, having a blast, playing with our friends, competing. Hopefully, you love to compete, and hopefully, you're willing to lose and willing to win. Not afraid. Just go out there and you've heard it from me already. Our phrase is compete equals this. Do the best you can, whatever you have that day. You don't have to play your best to compete. You just have to keep getting up. Now, if you love the game enough to put your game ahead of your emotions, you might then go ahead and get good enough through the junior ranks to become recruited. Now, quick statement of what I have heard from coaches over the last whole bunch of years. Number one, if they're interested, they already know what you shoot. In fact, most college coaches, when I had a talk with them, they were looking right on their phone at your score, so they know what kind of player you are. Number two, what kind of kid? Number three, what kind of parents? Number four, what kind of grades? Can they do the work on their own? Which means, can you stay eligible with the great demands? And I've had many teary-eyed phone calls from students who have found out just how difficult it is to play, particularly a D1 sport, and do the schoolwork, and get good grades, and stay eligible to play more college golf. It's harder than it looks, folks. I want you to know that. That said, it can still be a wonderful, rewarding experience. And I think, as a parent myself, I wanted my daughter to play golf, to play selfie with her dad, to spend more quality time with dad. And I really hope that she did enjoy it, and I might have had something to do with that. But that's the real reason. That the game gives you so many opportunities to struggle, to fail on a hole and come back in the next hole, to fail in a tournament, come back in the next tournament, etc. I think those are humongous life skills that I want all of my people to have. So you know my motto is to help create very strong-minded young people who happen to also be terribly good at the golf. So let's go on. If you're a ninth grader, you got to go to the NCAA Eligibility Center. That's all you have to do. Search that, NCAA Eligibility Center. And you don't have a choice. You have to enroll there. This is showing college coaches that you are indeed eligible to be recruited. Now, you know that the recruiting process doesn't start until June 15th after your sophomore year, but go ahead, if you're a freshman, get on there, because we will start making connections with coaches. You'll be assembling your list of how many schools? 40, right? Preferably that have programs that you'd be interested in playing for, but school subjects, folks. What do you want to study? Don't call this school for engineering when they don't have an engineering program. The coach will know you haven't done your homework at all, and that's a big turn on. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you can go to this website right here, NCSA. You don't have to sign up for the recruiting service. I've got a couple people, one for boys, one for girls, actually two for boys, one for girls, that I have used successfully. But there's a whole ton on NCSA.org, sports.org, that you can actually get some free info. It's really cool, right? Like the recruiting funnel. Like how do you get on a coach's radar? How to start the recruiting process. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's here for free, as well as stuff like, well, how many people get to play in college? From high school, how many high school athletes are there versus how many actually get to go on and play in college. It's not as many as you think. So after we've taken care of business here, we're going to go over here to the Junior Golf Scoreboard. Now, yep, this one's going to cost you money. But you can do stuff like, where's your junior golfer ranked? And find out where you are in your graduating class year as well as overall. And you'll see stuff like something called scoring differential, which is your score relative to the course rating is what it's called. So the course par might say 72, but the course is rated 68. So if you shoot 68, you're 0 as far as scoring differential. But if it's course rated 68 and you shoot 75, which is not a bad score, well, that's a lot higher than 68. And that scoring differential is a main factor that coaches are looking for. The next one, and this is probably the best $100 I've ever spent in my entire life, at least with golf. This is the College Golf Guide. Okay, collegegolf.com. Used to be sponsored by Ping, but this guy's going on his own. The American College Golf Guide, he's got all kinds of beautiful things, tons more information for you. And what's really, really cool, let me see if I can find it in here. You are able to try this. An example of the interactive score conversion. So let's say that you're a guy. Well, here, I'll do it the way I did it for Mary Grace. Okay, select a women's tournament, and we're going to go, so if I said Colonial, I think that's the correct thing. And you put in her name, and her score average of 75 at a course length of 6,000. It might be 74 or 73, but that's okay. She did have lots of par breaking rounds. By the way, I just heard from one of the top coaches in the whole country. If you have some, for boys, have some deep 60s, like 67, 66, 65s, they'll handle a 78 because they know they can coach you toward turning that 78 into a 73 or 4. So here's the tournament in Greensboro. Oh, 6,000 yards. How would she have placed? Isn't this cool? So now you go down here and you see that individually, oh, wow, Mary Grace would have finished in the top 10. Isn't that cool? Now, here's the thing. I opened up an Excel, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and any school where she would have finished high, now I would go here. If she wanted to go to Charleston, which I wanted her to go to, but she really wanted to go to the other one. That's okay, when we married. Well, we'd have to see, would she finish in the top 3 at Charleston? And in this case, she'd be just out of top 3 in this tournament. So, truly speaking, boink, they get an email, without question. That's going to go. Now, if she was 4, 5, or 6, like this is too close, it's 2 spots out, all right? That's fine. But if she was in the 4, 5, or even 6, that would be a reach school. They still get a contact. Right? But you have your, I'm really in the zone, because they really want kids that are going to be impact players. They're, truly speaking, they're not really looking for kids who are in the mid to high 70s. I'm sorry about that, but there is Division III, but even Division III is looking for 74 and under. Okay, so you can do that and then make this entire spreadsheet for yourself of schools. What a deal, right? What a complete deal. And look, there are some high scores out there. Here's Hofstra. One of my girls years ago went to Hofstra. So there are high scores out there, but you want to get out there and start making your list and sending out those initial emails. We will do a swing video. It's 3 minutes, but I've heard from a lot of coaches, they dig the way that we're doing it. So we have that. Again, collegegolf.com. Absolutely necessary. Plus, there's a ton more info for you on it. It's a great resource. Now, what tournaments do you play? Well, I recommend you start with the Philly Junior. Right? It's right here. And there are lots of these events all over our region, and you can start getting your experience there. Now, at first, or even early in the year, if you're older, well, they have one-day events. they also have two-day events that will say JGS. Okay, if it says JGS next to it, that tournament goes toward your ranking. If you're not ready early season, right, then you go play the one-day ones. And when you're ready, go play the JGS counting tournaments. The same thing goes for the Hurricane Tour, right? So many of my kids have begun at those two stages and still are playing on them, okay? And then again, where you have the two-day events, you often get junior golf scoreboard points. And your ranking is important. Philadelphia Junior Tour also happens to host like the PGA qualifier, which Mary Grace made it to there twice, which is really phenomenal. And you know, once you get to a major, a national tournament, man, the door's open for you. That's just a fact. So get to the Hurricanes. You even have the Nota Begay. Folks, you don't have to go all over the universe. Although I am hearing from some folks that if you really want to play high level, you're going to have to do some, even what's off season here, November and December, right? You're going to have to get some off season tournaments in to keep playing. And they do want to know that you can handle school and playing tournaments. Okay, if you're a young lady, I think this is the greatest thing going. And Mary Grace has played one qualifier for the AJGA, which is next, but she pretty much made her mark. Peggy Kirk Bell in the PGA. Pennsylvania girls really helped as well. But this one is fantastic. They've got all these different skill levels. It's absolutely out of this world. And you know, you don't have to go past this to get noticed and recruited for college. Mary Grace Living Proof. Okay, it's fantastic. They are all over our region, a lot more south too, but they also have more of our out-of-season tournaments down there in the Pinehurst area in Virginia. Okay? Now, the big step would be the AJGA. Now, if you are a boy, okay, you don't have a choice if you want to play college golf. This is the number one thing for college golf. You can play the higher, well, again, if you get into the national tournaments, or like the East-West or the North-South, the Western, all those kind of things will really help us out a whole bunch. That's for darn sure. But otherwise, for top 10, top 25 Division I girls, get on some AJGAs. And for the boys, steady diet of AJGAs. You only get, and there's a couple ways to get it. Number one, you get one preview. If you've never played them before, you get one preview. And then if you're 15 or under, you get 5 of these junior all-star tournaments. And it gives you information here on how to play in the AJGA. I will warn you now, this website is a beast. It is super, super hard to navigate. They've got to redo this. It's vicious. In any case, so you go preview, junior all-stars. Then you go to qualifiers. And what you're trying to do is gain these performance-based entry stars. Those are the currency that get you into tournaments. And yes, if this guy has 30 stars and you have 25, he's getting in first. That's how it goes. So you use those all-stars, 15 under, to rack up some points for your next year when you get into the Opens. And then at some point, you get high enough ranked, you get invited to the Invitationals. The only way to do that is to kick some butt in the Opens. Okay? And remember, you also have those tournaments. Some of those two-day tournaments in the other groups do offer AJGA stars. Mary Grace got exempt on the AJGA. She has decided not to play any of them. A personal thing, don't worry about it. She decided not to play them, but by winning the Pennsylvania State Championship, she got fully exempt, which is really cool. And, that can help a ton. Okay, so it gives you all this good stuff. You got me? Check it all out, please. Then you've got, of course, qualifying for the U.S. Junior Am or the PGA, right? Anything like that. Trying to qualify for the Northern Junior. I think there's an East-West, there's a North-South, there's a Western one. There's a whole bunch of tournaments that have qualifying. The Scott Robertson down in Maryland, Virginia. That one, really cool stuff. And then qualifying those and playing in those, your ranking improves, especially if you play well in them. Okay? Now you have pretty much the whole situation. Okay? You're going to want, when you start playing good golf, every time that you have a really good tournament round, I would send a text to a coach or the coaches you're interested in checking out their schools. Even if you're a freshman, do it. I would say also, if you are getting your list of schools like you should, 40 please, we get your email, and that email, of course, includes my info, but also that has a link to your video. The video at 3 minutes probably won't send by email, but you want a link to it. You might even consider, I'll show you another one here. Nicholas Gross did a lovely, lovely job of making his own website. Isn't that cool? And you can do that and send coaches there. You can actually store your own video on there too, which is super cool. The one thing about this, when you do the resume, okay, I want you to see this one too. Now, I gave Mary a basic template for this, and she made her own resume, which I was just very, very thrilled with. She did it exactly the way she did it. There's your NCAA eligibility ID, right? She's got her academics. Yeah, she's just like her father, brilliant student. She's got her extracurriculars, right? She was really into this singing stuff and all that good stuff. Her personal information, her rankings, right? Overall, and in her grad class, she did get to 100. That's cool. And one sentence here. She loves playing competitive golf. If you know her, you know that. Right? So she's got her coach, her high school coach, her trainer, and she's got her tournament results. Don't hide them, folks. They're going to see them anyways. They're going to see them anyways. Don't worry about it. So, very short, very sweet, but quite complete. Do you like that one too? All right. If you want to copy that, I'll send it to you. But you have it there. It's pretty simple. Okay? I really like the way that she organized it. It's beautiful. It goes way back to when she started. 86, 87. Oh, baby. Right? And by the way, if you have some bad scores in there, don't get upset about it. Because if you show progression, right? Let's say you had the 86, 87 that Mary had in there. But then you show this progression and how many times she's actually shot under par. They go, ooh, this person's getting better and better and better. That's a lovely, lovely sign to any coach. Okay, you know how to get hold of me. If you have any more questions, I hope that gives you a reasonable idea of what to do. There are a few more tours around, like the Buckeye Tour came around. I haven't seen anything about it this year yet, but it did come around. That gives you the gist of things. Thank you. I hope that helps.